Hi, this is Lady Lexi K, and this is a Dreams Gadget tutorial. We're going through cameras and lighting, and we've got two grading effects. Now, this is a gadget I haven't used hardly at all. It is a gadget that affects the whole scene, and it affects colour and lighting, and you can create all sorts of interesting effects with it. So it's good for artwork, especially if you want to have different options. A lot of people like to put in buttons that change the way things look, especially with fixed camera things, just to make it a little bit more interesting. This is what you would use, the grading effects. It's also very good if you want to colour tint your scene. Those of you that are familiar with filmmaking techniques, quite a lot of films use like colour tinting to get a certain mood or effect. And you can use this for that. But to be honest, it's very easy to change the lighting and everything to get some weird effect. So it's probably going to use the extremes rather than the subtleties. But it's entirely up to you. So our first page is our basic brightness. So you can get brighter or darker. And like the skybox, this also affects the colours and the brightness and of objects in your scene. So it will affect things like shiny metallic things. It will dull them, make them black, that sort of thing. So be wary of that. So we've got contrast here. We've got saturation of colour. And here we've got a hue cycle, so we can change... So all the colours will be the same in relation to each other, but there'll be different sort of palettes as it goes through the different hues. Colour tinting, this changes the way different parts of the light spectrum are presented. Let me just pop in something so we can see. We need something with a decent amount of... Let's try this bus. Right, so here I can demonstrate to you the issues with the metallic colours. So here we've got a grey metallic bus. If I take the brightness down, that's okay. It's okay, but we're not into darkness. We get the contrast. The whole thing goes black, and you think, oh, that's okay. I'll put a light in. Okay, so we've got a light in. I think you've lost some of the metallicness of that, but it's better than it's slightly better than changing the skybox, because that will change the colour of the skybox. So it is possible to get a dark effect on your shiny grey object without it altering, but you'll notice the light is very orange as opposed to there when it's the colours are all different depending on the contrast and things like that. So let's fiddle about with let me go back to the press triangle over it, and it sets everything back to normal. So shadows, we can make the shadows darker by doing this. We can change them their colours and make it more red. So this isn't affecting the skybox, you notice. Shadows are not part of the skybox per se. There's a little bit of change, but not much. However, midtones, this will change the skybox. So if you change the colour of that, look, we go red, we can go round, purple. So this will change the skybox colour. Let's go back to normal. Highlights, this doesn't change the skybox. It just changed the highlight, which is quite subtle. You see this light highlight on the bus here, changing its hue as we go around. There we are. So this is the way you would get like your colour grades going, and you can get some very subtle effects by fiddling about with this. And because you've got inputs, you can change this dynamically during the game as you need it. So you could have it so that all of a sudden everything is very green. You know, maybe they've taken a potion or something and everything suddenly gets very, very green, and you could do that dynamically during the game. Is it? Or like I say, you could do color grading like you do with film. Screen effects. We have a vignette, which is like a soft focus ring around the screen. You can't really see it at the moment, but there is one there. If we take it away, it's very subtle between that and 10%, but if we put it over to 100, you can see it immediately. So there's your vignette, sort of a soft black, and you can change the color of that. So if you wanted it to be red, you can do that. This is quite good for adding in an effect when your player's hurt, for example. And again, you can dynamically create this using wires, or you can use keyframes to do this, or you can activate an action recorder, so you can have boom 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 like this with an action recorder to get your effect. Let's just put that back to normal. Here we have bloom. Again, this is a very subtle lighting effect. As you can just about see, it is incredibly subtle. You're unlikely to fiddle about with that one. Lens flare, unfortunately I haven't worked out how that works because I haven't managed to get any lens flare whatsoever, so I'm just going to leave that one. This one's grain. This adds white noise to your scene like this. Personally, I don't like this sort of effect because I like to see the picture, but for certain scenes and things it might be a nice effect to add. Memory or TV screen or something. Sharpen and blur. This is all cameras in the scene, so we can sharpen everything or blur everything. Motion blur. It's set at 60%, which is quite high. The subtleties of motion blur is relatively subtle. If I turn motion blur off, and then I put it at 100%, it's really hard. There is some blurring there, but it's very, very subtle. However, camera movement blur is not at all subtle. Let's put that up and move the camera. As you can see, you get a delay effect, some weird effects. So that might be good for certain effects that you might want. You know, somebody's drunk. You can put the camera motion blur on for that little bit of sequence, that sort of thing. I also used it recently to create a ghost effect. I might make a tutorial on that a bit later on. Right, pin cushion. This changes the edges of your screen like this, so it makes it concave or convex. And depending on what's on your screen will depend on how effective that is. Obviously this looks really curved and everything, while the bus doesn't really look that much different. So it depends on what you've got on the screen and how close it is to the camera and all sorts of things, but how that is affected by pin cushion. Again, it's an effect that if you're going to put something weird on, like a music video or something, but for normal day-to-day stuff, you probably won't even touch that. Hue selectivity. Now, this is a... I haven't quite managed to work this one out. It's to do with these two effects. At the moment, they're affecting the whole scene. So we'll put the brightness back right up. You can see that's affecting the whole scene. If I go into here and then choose 100% hue selectivity, I can go through the color scheme and the brightness is only going to affect the things with the hue. Now we haven't got anything very in the scene, so let's put some objects in. So we've got we'll go red, orange. Let's do a rainbow of colours. See what the differences are, if any. We'll do that one. Right, okay, so we've got a rainbow of colours here. So at the moment I think it's affecting everything. Right, we'll change it to 1, 2, 3. Let's move it up. Now, when you're in this mode, you can see it's doing things to different colours. So that's the red going through to the green, through to the blues, through to the purples, back to the reds again. So it's saying that it's affecting just those colours. So this brightness isn't really doing very much until you start doing this, and you can see it's only affecting that green block and a little bit of the yellow because of where we have it. So I can do things like this. So I can turn off the saturation on just the green things, or up the saturation on just the green things. Let's go back to this. Now that's affecting the blue. Get it in the right place. There we go. It's affecting the blue. We can fiddle about with this. So we can go white and black and black for that as well. And what is not actually affecting the colour of that blue until we do that. See, there we go. So that's what it does. It's these two. When this is on, is going to affect just the colours. Now we can see that it's affected that red considerably and some of that orange, but these are all the same colours they were before. Let's move it along. See if we can get black where that green is now affected. Now the yellow is affected. Now the orange is affected. So but it's I don't know quite why or how you would use it, but now that you know how to do it, maybe you can come up with a game that would require this. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Let's just turn it off. There we go. Right, on the last page, we've got Y resolution. This creates pixelation. So if you want to make a mock Amiga game or Spectrum game, Commodore 64 or something like an old retro style game, you could fiddle about with this, and it creates this pixelization effect. Scan lines also, you can see that's your TV effect, American TV effect. Posterize, this affects chromatically light and colour and everything else. You can get some really weird effects that way. And then you've got glitch effects. It says here chromatic aberration. I don't know what that's doing. But then you've got this, which lots of people use. I absolutely hate it. I don't like it at all. But there you are. Maybe you need that and that. I can't really see what that's doing, to be honest, so I'll leave that one. But there you are. Glitch effects to get this sort of thing going. With the screen all pixely and horrible. It might be... People use it for horror games. I don't like it, but that's just personal taste. Right, so that's it. That's gradient effects and how you can use it. Be careful with it. Like I say, it's quite a powerful little gadget for changing your things. If of course you get into a bit of a muddle, just delete it and it'll go back to its normal defaults, which once you've been fiddling about with the gradient effects will suddenly look very pale and slightly too bright. Well, it is on my screen anyway. What it looks like on your screen, I have no idea. Because that's the other thing, of course. It looks different on different people's screens. Be aware of that. Your settings on your monitor, the settings on your TV, whatever you're using, will affect how these things look. And it might look really dark for you and perfect for what you want. And on a person's screen, it might look not dark at all. So you need to be aware that everybody's going to see your scene slightly differently anyway. But get it how you like it. That's the best that you can hope for, really. Okay, there you go. That was gradient effects. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in your dreams.